There's undoubtedly something about Rome. I mean, I'm not exactly the first to say that, but it's something to do with what you feel when you see the tomb of Peter. That whatever you make of later developments in Rome, it's nonetheless true that this really was the place where the Prince of the Apostles met his death, suffered for the faith. And when you go to the catacombs, you have a sense, as perhaps nowhere else, of that vividness of early Christian faith. You realize what it felt like to be a Christian right at the beginning, in the heart of a hostile empire. And I suppose to get any sense of what it might be like now, you might think of what it's like to be a Christian in Baghdad or somewhere like that. Part of a small group, not understood, at risk. This place we give thanks particularly for the friendship and understanding between our churches. I think when we visited the Sistine Chapel, there was certainly a very strong sense that the relationship that had been established and, I suppose, symbolized by the meeting of Michael Ramsey and Pope Paul in the Sistine Chapel, that mattered to both sides. It was something that our Roman Catholic hosts had not forgotten. I think very important messages are sent out by a good, well-managed, formal meeting. And I think the exchange of gifts between us was important. We had chosen to present an icon to the Holy Father, and he presented a crucifix in return. And I think just as a reminder of the faith we share, those exchanges are significant. But at a very different level, of course, the private conversations. And I was fortunate enough to have time alone with the Pope and also time over lunch with him. The informal conversations simply help you to learn each other's language.
I'm confident that an honest exchange of our concerns will not be allowed to eclipse what we can affirm and proclaim together: the hope of salvation and healing found in the grace and love of God revealed in Christ.
What I really enjoyed about the personal encounter with the Pope was that we instantly got on to talking about theology. We're both unrepentant academics, I suppose, in that respect, but we got on to talking about the nature of the Christian presence in society, the character of Christian obedience, what it meant to be obedient to revelation, what the importance was of the sacraments and especially the Eucharist. And I think we could have gone on talking about that for a very long time, and that was very energizing, I think. When the Roman Catholic Church talks about its motherly relationship to other churches like the Church of England, I can see that historically that's very much part of its consciousness, that it's the church from which mission has gone out to different areas. I think perhaps part of what we're saying in response is, and children do grow up, and their relationship to their mothers ideally becomes that of friendship, not just of dependence. And I suppose what we're working at really in our ecumenical relations with Rome is how we move from dependence to friendship in mutual respect.